When I was an X-ray technician, I was working in the emergency room. I had to X-ray this kid. They brought him in, and he had swallowed 25 plastic horses.
Oh man, that's wild.
The doctor said his condition was stable.
Oh no!
Oh, dad joke.
Oh, that's great.
Was he the galloping gourmet? No, okay.
Hey, man. Welcome to the Big Bad Broadcast, dude.
Welcome to the Big Bad Broadcast. We're here every week, any place you can find your podcast. Anywhere you can listen to it. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Podcast Playground. We're on Spotify. We're on, like I said, any place you can.
Your sister's ass cast.
What?
Podcast.
Is that new?
Great show for you to do. Let me introduce you to the original cast of morons. We have the Dean of the Clown College, Mike Grief.
How you doing? I'm number one moron. Hey!
And then we have the highest paid guy in the show, Craig Mitchell.
I'm going to invest all that money. I think I'm going to get some bazooka gum.
Oh, number two moron.
And then we have, I am John Ferrantino, and we have one of my best friends in the entire world, the guy that actually started me in my comedy career at Richard M. Dixon's. He's a legendary club owner and very funny comic. He's in the movies. He's got everything, and he's here today with us. His name is Richie Minervini.
Hey man, how you doing? Woohoo!
Richie, you started John in comedy. How much did his father have to pay you to put him on stage? Come on.
More than 17.
So yes, the story is they opened up a comedy club called the Richard M. Dixon's White House Inn, which we've mentioned before, with a guy who made his face look like President Nixon, who was insane. And my mother goes, they opened up a comedy club down the neighborhood. And I was like, what's a comedy club? And she goes, I don't know. She goes, I think it's just a bunch of comedians getting up telling stories. So she goes, you should go check it out. At the time, I was a hot magician doing kids' birthday parties.
What year was this, John?
This is like
1975.
Yeah.
Wow.
During the disco heyday.
So I went down to the place, and I was like figuring this is gonna suck. And I went down there, and let me tell you something. They were really funny. Bob Woods was on the show. He was really funny. Richie was really fun. They were all really funny. Bob Nelson, Rob Bartlett, Zabrowski, and they were all there. And I went up to Richie after the show, and I went, oh, my God, you guys are so funny, How long have you been doing this? Richie goes, about 3 weeks.
Tell the truth, though. Zabrowski probably pissed you off the first time you ever saw him.
So I go to Rich, I go, you're kidding. And he goes, why? What do you do? I go, I do magic. He goes, you start next week. I go, what? He goes, I need somebody between the 7 comedians. He goes, so, if you want it, it's yours. He goes, doesn't pay shit, but you'll have fun. And I used to go there and, Richie would put me on like 3rd or 4th. And then I would go backstage and do my act for these guys like I do it now on stage. And then I'd go out on stage and it'd have to be, right, Richie? Like the serious magician.
Oddly enough, he was so serious on stage, we didn't really meld with him right away. And we went out to a diner once and we said, hey, how do you do that trick? I can't tell you. It's a magician. And we're like, F this guy. All right, so now we're giving him fake diners to go to. And then he comes in there, we got drunk, and he starts doing the magic and showing us and screwing stuff. And I go, oh, this is hysterical. Why don't you do it like this? It's not ethical for the Magicians Union. And
then one night the crowd just sucked. Everybody kept going, I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him. And Dave Hawthorne goes, let me show you how this is done. And he walks out and he dies. Right. And
he was experienced. He was the only guy with experience.
Yeah, he was the only guy. He had been on Merv Griffin, right? He had been on a bunch of shows with Billy Crystal. And then Eddie Murphy actually, and Richie said to me, just go out and do your act like you do it backstage for us. We'll sit in the audience and laugh, right? And I went out and I just made fun of magic and walked off stage and thinking to myself, wow, this is the first time I've ever really had fun doing this,
Well, you were so serious. Well, magicians are always so serious because it's hard to friggin' hide a dove in your ass for like half an hour before you know.
Not as hard as you think, Mike.
That's why I like the gerbils. They don't have wings.
Not odd for Craig, but I mean,
No.
odd for everyone else.
I got a flock of pigeons up my ass right
Fucking
now.
Craig's got
The
oysters.
bell
Are
has
you
rung
kidding?
already.
Fucking turducken up there.
Turducken.
Oh, that's a good one.
So then Richie, Richie was always the MC, and he was really good MC. He really was, and he always kept the show moving. And
Yeah, screw Peter Bales.
then, yes,
We can't go there legally. No.
Legally, we can't tell you how we do. And
Walls, party of go fuck yourself. All right. Anyway.
insurrection bells. Anyway, so Richie one day decided, right? Do you tell a story about why you started Eastside? You got pissed off, right?
Oh yeah, well Dixon would we were getting paid $5. I got 10 because I emceed. And he'd have one beer. And I said, listen, Dick, we need more money. He goes, what do you want? I said, I don't know, 20? He goes, 20? That's what you want? $20? Sit down. He was all about 5'4", but he make you sit down so
He looked like Popeye, right? He looked like Popeye.
He looked more like Popeye than he did Nixon. Yeah. And he goes, a guy like you, let me tell you something.
Oh, yeah.
You'd be making $10, $15, $25,000 a night in Las Vegas, Atlantic City, in just a couple of years' time. And here you are yelling at me, you want $10 more. Now get the hell out of here and think big. All right, sir. You're driving home going, $25,000 for one performance. Oh my God, I'm going to make a lot of money. Hey, I didn't get my $10.
So curiously though, so was the East Side, was that the second club on Long Island, the second comedy club?
Hold on a second. Eastside is the first paying comedy club
First paying
Right.
in the
comedy, right.
world.
There
In
you
the
go.
world.
Wow.
Yeah,
So that's-
of course you had the Catch Rising Star, you had the Improv. You
But
had
that was a whole different story
Dangerfields.
for anyone who doesn't know, that you would get $20, $30 for a set. When you'd come to the East Side or clubs like that, you would get you could make a living. I mean, guys like Richie created, an industry for
Well,
that. So
this
it
is
was
how-
money.
16 comedians moved to Long Island, and they were able to quit their jobs and work full-time as comedians. Yeah.
The other thing at Dixon's was, right, once we started getting a little bit better, one day he calls us aside and he goes, tomorrow night, there's a big agent coming in here. And, this is going to be huge for all of you. So we go up there. And like I said, Hawthorne was the only one that knew anything about the business. So we're all up there and we're all really nervous because it was new, agent, blah, blah, blah.
Big agent from New York.
So Hawthorne comes up to us and he goes, I just talked to the guy. He's an insurance agent.
You guys are going to go far, but if you go far, make sure you insure the car.
So,
You want to have the maximum insurance.
but this is how tricky Dixon was. So we all decide we're going to, before the next night, we're going to have a meeting with him, right? And we walk up to him and we go, so you lied to us. And he goes, about what? We go, about the agent. He goes, nope, there was an agent here. And we go, Dick, he was an insurance agent. He goes, that's right. And you all sucked. Because you sucked, because you were so nervous that there was an agent here. It was a good run through. Learn the fucking lesson.
And you go, oh, sorry, Dick. And then you leave.
And we're like, oh, yeah, I guess you're right.
Yes, you're right.
Towards the end, you get your $5 and $10 to work there. And then you also got a free beer. And Dixon would stay open for the 7 comics there, making sure he got his $5 back. He'd give you a free draft beer.
That was
Free
no
beer, and he
different than,
charged $1.50.
It was no different than you went to the city. Fucking what you get? I think a set at Dangerfields was $20, or at any of the clubs. I forget. What'd you get? Like 20? You get 50 on the 25 and 50 or something like that on the weekend.
Or you do a 6. I think I did 6. I made $150 at Dangerfields one night. I did 6 proms, 8 to 8:45, 9 o'clock to 9:45. Yeah.
I'd rather fucking load trucks all night than
Yeah, I only got $25 at the comic strip. So
man.
it's always like that.
The beautiful thing too is that these
Hawthorne is like, we're all like sick of this crap from Dixon. He goes, Hey, Dixon,
It's for everybody.
I want a beer. He goes, and not a draft beer. I want a Heineken. They're $1.50 a piece. He goes, I want one for me, one for Mr. Woods, one for Mr. Hawthorne, one for Mr. Nelson, one for Mr. Bartlett, and one for Mr. Martley.
It's a
get one
Shawshank
for yourself,
Redemption
Dick.
moment.
He goes, that'd be $7.50. He goes, shove it up your ass. We all laughed so hard. Like we never talked to an adult like that before.
So then Richie got the idea to start the East Side Comedy Club, the landmark East Side Comedy Club, we might add, right?
Yeah.
It's a Huntington landmark
So then
now.
clubs started popping up all over the country. This way, it's the only way. I mean, comedy, I don't think would have never had that big boom in the 80s that it had, where you could actually make a living if it weren't for like your club, because you couldn't make a living at the Showcase Club. You couldn't make a living at
Couldn't make a living.
Star. You couldn't
No.
make a living stand up. None of those. They're paying $25 a set. Where you were paying, I mean, even an MC could make a living, So
They used to go in the city. It's cab fare, right? Isn't
Yeah.
it? They used to, that's how you
yeah,
go
but
in
not
there.
only that, but then they wouldn't even let you work other clubs. You'd work Dangerfield, you couldn't work this club. You can't work that. So you're not even going to let me
Right.
work the other clubs and make a fucking living.
Yeah.
One of the things about Eastside is where I started, and Richie gave me my first weekend ever.
Fucking Richie, man. Thanks a
did.
lot,
Yeah, he
Richie.
did. And
Thanks a lot, Richie.
Yeah,
Right.
thanks a lot, Richie. But what happened was, what was great about Eastside is, well, first of all, I actually have dreams. I'm still performing there. I really do. But what was great about it is you would actually sit and watch open mic night, and you came up to me after open mic night and said, "Hey, you want to work this weekend?" It was the 4th of July weekend. I went, yeah, because you're going to do a little spot in between, blah blah blah. And it was like magic. It was unbelievable.
It really was. That
spot.
room was nice.
I worked the
And
opening.
I have you to thank. I mean, seriously, Richie, you got me going, man. You're the guy that did it, and I appreciate it.
I worked the opening weekend there with Jackie Mason.
Jackie Mason.
Jackie, man.
And
Hello, Fermentino.
it was so funny, man, because at that time, Richie had two partners besides you, right?
Chuck and Steve Cacciarelli, good guy.
Right. The one
And
the
my
pizza
brother
place.
Chuck.
The one the pizza place.
Yeah.
So, and then the East Side had I don't know if it was a fireplace, but it was a brick wall. It looked like a fireplace.
It was a fireplace.
It was a fireplace, and then it had a couple of wood walls. Jackie Mason comes out and he goes, "Look at this place. Everybody you bump into is an owner. This guy's an owner. No, I'm the owner. This one's an owner." He goes, and then they all got together. This guy says, "I'll start over here on this wall. I'll start over here on this wall. I'll build a fireplace for no fucking reason." He goes, "We'll meet in the middle." He goes, "We'll meet in the middle." And we step back and go, "What does it look like?" "It looks like shit. We'll call it a comedy club." I always
That's
remember.
so,
he was like the first real comic I saw live.
Yeah, me too. It was amazing. So the winter comes, our heater's not working. So I said, well, we got a fireplace. So we got some wood. We threw it in the fire. We start the fire right before the audience comes in there. I guess Eddie Murphy must have been opening. Saturday night, dinner show, $69 or $49 a head, $49. And we start the fire, and someone goes, smoke is getting in the room. I go, well, how come? The flu's not open. I'm a kid. What's the flu? It's a thing got open underneath. I go, oh, there is smoke in the room. Eddie comes out from the back, maybe under my instructions. I go, Eddie, got to put out that fire. We give him a big bucket of water. He throws it on the fire. Soot comes out and lands on all the people. There's a big gray cloud. People are coughing. And Eddie goes over the microphone. Why don't you all get out of here and wait outside for a little while until the smoke clears, then come back in. Ain't nobody paid for their meal that night. I think 13 people out of 150. Everyone else, we heard tires screeching. I'm laughing. And my brother goes, why are you laughing? I go, aside from the fact that we're losing money, that is really funny. That's absolutely hysterical.
So did you brick up the fireplace after a while? Is that what happened?
No, we opened the flue.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to open the flue than brick out the fucking fire.
I don't remember there actually being a fireplace. I remember there just being a solid brick wall behind the stage, or is it somewhere else? Maybe
it was a. You know what's funny? Because we had the fireplace. It was in fact, we built the stage higher then, so there's only like half a fireplace. We didn't use it then, so you would have assumed it was a brick wall. But then we thought it would be better to move the stage to the left of the room, so we put some knotty pine wood on the wall.
Now that must have been the old
we hated
location,
it
right?
over
'Cause
there,
I
so
don't
we
think I
moved
ever,
back.
I don't think I was ever at the old location. I think I was only at the east side once or twice. Once was with Labriola, obviously. Like we did.
And Jim Norton was with you.
Was Jim? He might have been. Yeah, I don't know.
He could not look at the audience. He kept doing this thing with his head, doing a joke to his head. Yeah, he was so
Well,
nervous.
the building used to be what was a Steer Inn or something hamburger place.
It was Steer and Hamburger place. We used to cut school and go there. Walt Whitman High School was right behind it. Next to us was the cemetery. So, and a couple of comedians came out, and next thing you know, I get a call from Bud Friedman. Richard, I understand you're using my logo. This is a friendly conversation. Don't make me call my lawyers. I go, your logo? Yeah, you're using my saying over 1 billion told. I said, Bud, one of your comedians came to my club, and they saw that sign on my building, and they gave it to you. And I live right next door to McDonald's. It's my place, cemetery, and then McDonald's. And I was driving by once. I saw McDonald's over 1 billion sold, and I put on my building a quarter mile away over 1 billion told. So don't even go over there.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll knock the monocle right out of your eye, you prick.
We're good.
They used to have the old like takeout window there. Bob Woods used to hang out there and go, "This is apparently the joke takeout window."
I forget if it was, I think it was Mulrooney or somebody stopped me from kicking Bud Friedman's ass one night. We were at the Improv in Hollywood, and he was drunk, and he did something, and he like spilled some fucking something on me, and I was just like, I'm gonna knock his fucking. And I think it was Mulrooney grabbed me. He goes, no, he's the owner of the club. I'm like, I don't give a shit.
It's pretty bad when Mulrooney. It's pretty bad when Mulrooney has to calm you down.
Yeah. So didn't you hit him in the face and break his glasses? And so he only wore the monocle.
That's why he's only got the one monocle. Yeah, prick. Well, he's
dead.
Well,
okay, but the truth about East Side Comedy Club is a lot of famous people came out of there. You know, I mean, household names like Eddie Murphy, Rosie O'Donnell, Kevin James, Adam Ferrara, and everybody else, and John Ossoff.
You know, I argue. So I'm out here in California.
I grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood. I grew up in Uganda.
In Uganda.
You know, he was really funny. It's like he never really got what he deserved, I don't think.
You know, later on, Steve Wright did what Ossoff was doing, but Wright did it better or more professional.
Yeah, you're right.
It was that dry, boy, the Ossoff was good. I remember that.
And yeah, I mean, you know, Rosie came in the first night and Richie auditioned her and she did 5 minutes of Seinfeld.
Yep.
Right. And Richie said to her at the stage, you can't do that. And she said, what? Tell him.
I forgot. I don't know.
Oh, she said to you, I remember this vividly. She said to you, well, I watched him and he's really funny. Why can't I do that? And you go, well, because it's his act. And she was like, I can't do his act.
I heard Joan Rivers was the same way. Joan Rivers would do other comics act material thinking there's nothing wrong with it. It's like, you know, which is today now, if you watch TikTok or any of these things, you have people lip syncing comics material, which pisses me off to no end. You know, and they're making more money than the comedian who wrote and performed this stuff for years.
Yeah, it's great.
So out here, Richie, the ground zero for stand-up comedy is the Comedy Store. At least that's what people tell me. And I always pretend, I'm like, yeah, well, ground zero in New York on the East Coast was East Side. Because that's, I mean, because Billy Crystal was there. You got everybody was mentioned. So it's like, I think it's the equivalent. And I think it deserves to get that kind of props.
Well, you know, I couldn't be a club owner and a comedian, and I was not a good club owner. I wish you know, obviously I wish it was still around, but I really wanted to be a comedian. And it was a lot less headaches being a comedian.
But there was one of the first weekends I worked after the 4th of July, which was like a test. It was me, you, and George Miller. And
oh, wow, he was great.
Do you remember? Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. I was an MC, and I did the robot comedian, right?
Yeah.
So I went on. I opened the show. You came on, did your set, and then between you and George, I did the robot comedian. It did really well, and then George didn't do so well. So George came up to me in between shows and goes, "Listen, on the next show, don't be funny in between. Don't get any laughs. Just don't be funny." I'm like, well, and he was a big comedian. I'm like, well, okay. And I went up and I kind of, I ate it. And you came up to me and goes, "What happened? Where was the robot? What?" And I said, "I told you what he said." And you went, "I'll take care of this." The next night, I drive up to East Side, and on the marquee, he was the middle, and you were the headliner.
Oh, yeah.
You remember
It's
that?
funny because I remember George was a great act.
Yeah.
Brought asses in the seats, but he couldn't really close a show. He had that easy,
Well, people
breezy
knew
kind
who
of comedy.
people knew who he was from the Letterman show, right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
he wasn't real funny.
Yeah. Well, Richie,
Well, I
you're still
think
out
it
there.
was-
John tells me you're still working. You're still doing what did he say? John said you were on a nude cruise.
Well, what?
Well, yes, I went up to the top deck of the pool deck. I was the only man wearing a bathing suit. In fact, I was the only person wearing I look like a freak. I'm walking around going, "Oh my God, I'm the freak."
Was the whole ship like was it a nudist cruise?
They rented out a ship. I don't know that I can say the name, so I'll give you the initials, RCL.
The SS, my balls are hanging here.
Yeah, and they confiscated 750 handcuffs on people coming on board. And then I talked to the couple of vendors on board. They sold 3,200 handcuffs
Yeah.
on board. Yeah,
Handcuffs.
It's
You
like
can't
the
bring 'em in
airport.
your
Yeah, it's like
pocketbook,
the
but you can
airport. You
ship
can't
'em
bring
in.
your own.
yeah, but you can ship them in a big crate.
Handcuffs. And what am I missing? What is new?
It was and they had naked comedians and naked audiences, and they said, "You want to go?" I said, "I'll go on." After 2 days, I stayed in my room. It was more
cold.
than I could handle.
It was.
Wait,
Well-
the comedians perform naked?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So Richie Minervini is the king of schmooze, and I got a job at a nudist colony, right? And watching Richie wins over every audience. He comes out, no matter what it is, he wins over every audience. So I had to do this nudist colony for the first time. Oh, you can't say colony, nudist resort.
The problem is you make these people laugh. If they're young and good looking, it's fine.
Well,
But if they're old
and
and
they're not.
fat, you don't want to make them laugh.
And they're not. And
They're not.
so anyway,
They're just
Richie.
not.
So I decided I'm going to do the Richie Minervini School of Charm, and it worked like a charm. I have to tell you, I went out and I go, "Hey, I just want to say it's great to be here at the Cypress Cove. I just want to say
Cypress.
that I respect you people." I go, "I don't know if I can ever do this, but I do respect you from the bottom of my heart." And they all start applauding. I go, "I do have questions. Where do you keep your keys?"
Yeah.
You know? and and it just like from that minute on, I had him. It was like the Richie School of Charm, and it's just so funny. I mean,
And you don't find that distracting? It's like you're performing for naked people. I think.
well,
that would be
I
slightly
had this guy,
distracting.
so they have to carry a towel.
Especially like some
they-
guy's laughing, he's getting a hard on while you're telling fucking
Well, you can
jokes.
tell he's
I don't
enjoying
know.
the show.
Yeah.
They sit down. They have to sit on a towel, right?
Oh yeah. Well, thank God.
God.
It's
So this
They
guy comes
didn't,
up. The guy comes up on stage. I go, "Where's your towel?" So he goes, "Oh." So the guy throws up his towel, and he had on a belly shirt with no pants. And halfway through, you know me, I just go, "Hey man, could you pull the shirt down a little bit?" And the owner says to my girlfriend Chris, "I think he has a problem with nudity." About me. And the women aren't allowed to wear anything seductive. They can be completely naked, but they can't wear any like see-through lingerie or anything.
Yeah,
you know,
right. It was
because that would be sexy.
Yeah. As long as they're naked, they're not sexy. But they put on some lingerie, and I can't.
I
just,
kind of see
hey.
the point with that. I kind of see the
Yeah.
point with that.
So I took Chris around for a tour of this place, and she's going, "This is so bizarre." And there was a guy about 75 years old, completely naked, walking his dog with just sneakers on.
Oh God, I've seen these guys at the Y with their nuts hanging to their knees.
How did he get the sneakers on the dog?
that's the weirdest part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I am booked back at another one on January 5th.
January.
They're great audiences, man.
Well,
Let's
here's-
face it.
John,
here's-
you got to tell this joke. The guy says, "Listen, Dad, I'm going away for a business trip. Can't leave you home alone. I'm going to put you in a nursing home, and I'm not going to go to a nursing home, Dad. This is a really cool nursing home. It's a nudist nursing home for seniors." He goes, "I don't want to go there." They go there, they check it out. There's naked people all over, and the father, "I don't think I like this." Father calls him up the next day. He goes, "Listen, it's okay. This is great. This is great. I'm sitting on a bench. A beautiful girl walks by. I look at her. She smiles at me. I haven't had a girl smile at me in so long. I got excited. She came right over, and boom, she gave me some action. It's all right. That's great." He comes back 2 weeks later. He goes, "You got to get me out of here. You got to get me out of here." He said, "What happened?" "I'm walking the grounds. I'm smoking my cigar. I dropped my cigar. I go bend down to pick it up, and a big maintenance guy came behind me and had his way with me." He said, all right, Dad, you had all those women." He goes, "I get one hard on a month. I drop my cigar 4 times a day. Get me out of here."
I've never been to a nudist colony, but back in the early '90s when I was slim and trim and gorgeous, I used to go to the
Yeah, it must have been
Robert
the real
Moses nude-
fucking early.
I was beautiful then, man. I used to go to the Robert Moses nude beach, and I
Oh,
loved.
yes.
Yeah, I used to go all the time, and what was great about it is I knew nobody there. It was totally anonymous until one day I'm laying there and I look over, and here comes Dave
Jacques Cousteau with a
Hawthorne.
fucking harpoon. No, I'm saying
No, it was Dave. It was Dave Hawthorne and Lenny. I can't think of his last name.
that's appropriate. The walrus came up.
Yeah,
Lenny
and they're
Travis.
walking to, and I just turned around. I went ass
And
up.
Lenny
turned my
looked
head
at
in the
you and went,
sand.
"Ha ha, it's too weird."
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
I don't think I went back
Hilarious.
again
It's
after
too
that. 'Cause
weird.
I was afraid of discovery. I didn't go back.
Well, here's the question then. I mean, you guys freaking what is that the weirdest Richie, is that the strange because comedians get thrown into some fucking positions. Is that the weirdest gig you ever had was a nude cruise?
No, I was emceeing for the motorcycle club, the Pagans, out on Long Island.
Thank you.
Yeah. And there was some badass bikers.
Yeah.
Now they're having, and the Pagans side, not the guys holding it was just a motorcycle convention, but the Pagans took over.
Right.
Now the Pagans
For
decide
guys,
they're gonna have
excuse me, but for people that know, the pagans are as bad as the Hells Angels.
If
Oh,
not,
every bit.
well, who knows, man? I'll tell you a
they can
story
handle a
after
New
you
York
finish. I'll tell you.
Is bad.
Yeah,
the
because the
word or
Pagans
should
can handle a
notorious
New
be
York
the word?
winter. Not like those California Hells Angel pussies.
The
So
Hells Angels are in New York.
yeah. So they decide to have a nude contest, and now they all yelling at me to vote for their girl, otherwise they're going to kill me. I said, "Look, I'm just the MC,"
Right.
and they're threatening my life. So I just want to get the hell out of there. I finished my MC spit. I figured, let me get out of here. Some guy parked his chopper right behind my car, and I go to move it. A couple of bikers over go, is that your bike, man?" I go, "No." The guy parked behind my car. He goes, "You don't want to touch a pagan bike. They'll hurt you." I go, "I'm
Yeah.
just going to move it 5 feet." I said, "He parked behind me." So I wait for an hour and 45 minutes, and out comes a guy about 5'7" with glasses, and he jumps on about 114 pounds worth. Yeah, it was a sports, so I should have known.
Just
And this is the guy I waited for. Like,
yeah.
I was working-
Just because you mentioned a peg, I just want to tell this quick. We were in some strip club in Long Island. It was just me and John Truson. And you got to remember, you remember me at the time. I mean, I'm 6'1", 285 pounds, big. You remember, big
Yeah. Oh,
arms,
yeah.
tattoos. And so I'm sitting there, and me and John, and all of a sudden, 4 or 5 pagans walk in, and and Truson is drunk, and he's just being loud. He goes, "Hey, look!" He goes, "Mike, look, that guy's got more tattoos. He outranks you," and he's just making I'm like, "John, you don't understand." He goes, "No, what? They won't bother you. You want?" I'm like, "You know, you don't get it. They
Yeah.
will have no respect for me. I'm not in the club. They will kill you. Then they will kill me." It's like, you don't
Yeah.
fuck with the pagans,
I was working at your brother's club out on the island. What was it?
Chuckles. Chuckles.
No. That one.
Chuckles, I love
Oh,
Chuckles.
the other
Wasn't
one, the
And
KKK, Cockama Comedy Club.
Yeah, so I was working there, and all of a sudden, all the pagans come into the club, and of course, they seat them. So I'm on stage, and I get this guy, and of course, you know me, I'm such an idiot. I call like the leader of the pagans up to do a thing where I'd burn his money.
Yeah, that's
And I go to the
that.
guy, I go like this. I go, "Now take the bill and hold it in your right hand." That'd be your throttle hand.
Oh yeah. That's it.
So it gets a huge laugh.
Huge.
While I'm talking, some guy must have put his bike right up to the door and revved it up and took off. It sounded like he went through the club. And I look at the guy and I go, "Hey, hot shit, your bike just left without you." Right? Right? And it gets a huge laugh. And his girlfriend in the front row goes, "Spike, just kill him."
Just kill him.
That's what they find sexy. That's sexy to.
And then after the show was over, I was going to my car and they all surrounded me and they go, "Hey, you were really funny, man. You want to perform at our party?" And I was like, "No."
I hosted some huge event in Long Island, same thing in Long Island with like thousands of bikers, and it was some rally or something like that. And the same thing as Richie, they had like the wet t-shirt contest, and
I'll be right back.
And I had to judge it. You talk about, man, I'll tell you what, I love that lifestyle. I lived that lifestyle for years, man. It was a lot of fun. I never rode with a club. They always say, why don't you? Because the truth is, riding with a club is like being married. And it's like, on the big clubs, especially the big clubs like Hells Angels, Peg, all those, you sign over the title of your, at least from what I understand, you sign over the title of your bike. It's like they basically your family, and you can't. It's like being in the mafia.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
that
being
show,
in a gang out here too. Same thing.
that show, The Mayans, was all about loyalty to the club.
Yeah.
Hey, Richie, that's some view you got there, man.
Not bad. That's a poster.
That's what I thought. I go, is that a poster or a
Poster.
visual backdrop?
No, that's where are you? Are you home? Is that where you? Is that your house?
Yeah.
Believe me, the view is better than the condo. It's just on the water, on a coastal. It's nice, and
Where are you in Lauderdale? Are you in
wanted to buy a
Lauderdale?
boat. Then I realized I don't know anything about boats.
Are you in
So-
Lauderdale?
I remember your first boat extravaganza.
Oh, it had a Corvette engine in it, which we thought was great. It ran for one season. Then everything rusted and the engine fell apart.
Oh God.
We didn't know you couldn't put a car engine in a boat.
You can. I had an OMC where it had a 4-cylinder, like the 4 or 6-cylinder Chevy engine, and then it had the outboard, it was an inboard outboard, but it had a car motor in it. Chevy.
But this was water cooled with salt water.
No, you don't want to do that.
Yeah. We would.
That was the problem.
The engine's fine. All the screws rotted. You have to put aluminum screws in, but then you're okay.
Right.
Or stainless, marine stainless. But yeah, we had so much fun, man. And then Richie expanded his club from Huntington to Southampton, which was the East End Comedy Club.
That was a couple of summers.
That was really fun. And yeah, I mean,
Well, Long Island was the best. I mean, look, you go to the city. I worked the city and I worked Long Island, but I hung out in Long Island because it was a much better, much more supportive community. Whereas, like, you go to New York and nobody gives a shit, nobody cares. It's like all the guys in Long Island were all friends. They all seemed to be friends. They all and if you were good and whatever, they would take you right. It was like family. You'd take you right in.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved all you guys. I mean,
Yeah, we were good. You know what? Boston is like that today. The Boston comics, Lenny Z, Tony V, Lenny Clark, and Dave Russo, Don Gavin. Those guys work so well with each other. No problem. If you work Colognes, you can still work Giggles. You can work this play that. There's no ban. They want everyone working. Yeah.
I think the difference was, though, East Side kind of became our clubhouse, and no matter where we worked, we'd end up at East Side for the end of the night, and then from there we'd end up at the diner. But
one of the most enjoyable things. I shouldn't say enjoyable, but like Mike was talking about city comics, who were constantly doing the rounds of the clubs in the city would come out the East Side on an open mic, and they would bite it. They had a whole different delivery, they had a whole different point of view, and then they would come off stage and go, "Oh, this club sucks." I'm like, no, it doesn't.
Well,
that's the advantage a suburban comic has. We were close enough to the city, but we weren't all citified with the potholes and the police and the subway and the bumps.
Right.
People on Long Island, if they didn't go to the city, they had no idea what was going on there.
Yeah.
And then when these guys went to the Midwest, they eat it even some more, and we were able to go
Yeah.
coast to coast.
Right.
Because you
meanwhile,
go
I
from
broke
Long
out of
Island
that.
to the
I'm
to
sorry,
travel the country and have similar experiences. You were talking about stuff that people in the Midwest and all that went through the same kind of rural America.
Well,
Well,
you know who
Richie
broke out
always
of that though? It was Dave Attell. Dave Attell, I remember him coming to East Side and absolutely biting it. We're like, ooh, this guy. Ew.
David Tell's funny though. He's
Yeah,
one of the
but no,
funniest
He's funny.
guys.
he broke out of it. Then he just exploded. He found himself, man.
David Tell's a comedian's comedian.
He's hilarious.
Well,
I've
there's a
never
lot of
seen
guys,
him do
but-
well with. I've never seen him do
Really?
well with a real audience.
Really?
Well. And then again, I've only really seen him. I used to see him at the Cellar a lot, and he would kill. But it was a city. It was a city club. But he would.
But
kill
Richie
at the Cellar.
Richie always said Long Island comics do better in the city than the city comics do on Long Island, and
Absolutely.
do better in LA than the LA comics did on Long
Yeah.
Island. One
Yeah.
of the few comics that really made the transition was Bobby Collins. He was a city guy that played Long Island all the time.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah, well, I
I
mean, I
mean,
don't know.
if
I
you're-
guess I was a city guy, but I'm from Queens, so
You're
I
a
don't
Queens
know.
guy.
I
It's
was an in
almost Long
between.
Island.
I'm a Queens guy, so I guess it was. But yeah, I definitely considered myself more of a Long Island guy than a city guy for sure.
Yeah, but
But, you
Jimmy's
know-
Comedy Alley was a much tougher
oh,
venue.
I
man.
used to fucking kill Jimmy's comedy.
Yeah,
I
they
love
would-
Jimmy's comedy.
If you didn't know
Alley.
your shit, they would eat your lunch there.
I opened for the fucking Dice Man a couple of times there. Try that one out.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
and
we
that
had-
was in his heyday.
at one time I think there was 7 full-time comedy clubs right around Long Island.
Yeah.
Within a 40-mile radius.
Governor's Chuckle.
There was Governor's Chuckles, East
Rainy
End
Night House
Comedy
in
Club,
Queens.
Rainy Night House.
Yeah. Konkoma.
Comedy Alley,
Jimmy's
Konkoma Comedy Club.
Yeah, I mean,
Even
McGuire, McGuire's,
Fast Eddie's. I used to make a couple of bucks there
Fast
sometimes.
Eddie's.
Oh, Fast Eddie's.
Fast Eddie's, which was Cinnamon's, which was
Cinnamon.
Top of the Town. They changed that name like so many times.
But I gotta say, like I say, for me, like I say, Chuckles and Governors, and like I said, I didn't get to your club too much, Richie, and it was only because you had class and taste, and you wouldn't hire me, prick. But anyway, no,
I don't think so.
think.
I remember always liking you.
He came later on. Really, like after your brother was out of Chuckles.
Yeah.
But we had so many good things at Eastside, man. We used to have roasts. They roasted me on I think it was my 40th birthday, and it was a huge event, right? Richie called me up.
1975.
Packed. Richie, yeah, it was 1875, and Richie called me up and said, "Yeah, listen, it's going to be a formal event. You got to wear a tuxedo." And I go, "Really?" And I got to show up in a tuxedo.
You're the only one, right?
And all he
Yeah.
did was make fun of the fact that I wore a tuxedo.
So terrible.
I remember
terrible.
the Jackie Martling. I was at the Jackie Martling roast at Eastside.
Did
the
he
funniest
take a,
line? The funniest line was, I think it was at Governor's, where they were roasting Myers, or they were roasting Martling, and they had chicken cordon bleu.
Oh yes.
And Myers walks out and goes, "All night long, all I'm hearing is the chicken cordon bleu, the chicken cordon bleu. Wouldn't it just been more polite to say the chicken wasn't that good?"
The chicken cordon.
Hey, listen,
was
honestly,
up to par.
Yeah.
the first
It
time
was
I
not
saw
up to par.
Myers got him every time, though. It's like if you didn't know Myers, if you'd never seen him, I remember the first time I saw him, and he came out as Germany's #1 stand-up comic.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Klaus Myers.
and he'd Klaus Myers, and he'd go on for, I don't know, 10-minute, whatever it was, and then he'd go, "You as soon as he'd switch back to I'm
Oh.
really Jim, like, you cocksucker, you had me, you bastard, all the way, you know."
I
He
did
went,
a.
he went out to the Montreal Comedy Fest. Some guy, Asian, came up to him, thought he was absolutely incredible. Sussman is managing him. Jeff Sussman, Kevin James' manager,
Right.
and tells him, "You
He was
cannot."
my manager too back then.
He said, "You cannot break character, Jim. This guy wants you for a James Bond movie playing a bad guy. You don't break character the whole week you're up here." So Myers does it for 2 or 3 days in a row. And he's out with drinking. The guy runs into him. The guy goes, "Well, you're not German." He goes, "No, I'm not German, you jackass." Loses his job. Sussman gets reamed out. He had a job on the movie. He was going to be a bad guy.
I did a
Oh,
show with him
man.
once for Sikorsky Helicopter. It was a corporate show. And we get there, and they're all like German helicopter guys, mechanics and stuff. So he gets there and he starts doing his act, and he is crushing, just crushing. And then he loses character. and says, "Well, I'm actually my name's Jim Meyer, and I've never been to Germany," and they hated him.
Yeah.
They hated him.
You feel tricked, man. You
He
feel tricked.
walked off stage, and he only was supposed to do like 30. He did like 25, and I go, "Hey, listen, don't worry about it, man. I'll cover you 5." So I go out there, and I'm doing my show, and it's going fine. And then I go, "I'll just end with burning the money thing." So I call this guy up on stage. This is really funny. I go, this guy, I go, "Hey, I need a volunteer from the audience." This guy comes up on stage. He's about 5'4", and I go, "Could you give me a $20 bill?" And he goes, "No, deal with it." And I go, "Well, I need a $20 bill or $100 bill." "No, deal with it." Right? So I'm like, "Well, if you don't, well, you can go back to your seat." "No, I'm not going back to my seat. You deal with it." I go, "Okay, your next act, Bob." And I hand him the microphone and I leave. He's sitting on stage. I walk off stage and I see Myers, and Myers goes, "The hell was that?" I go, "What a fucking asshole." And I'm on a wireless mic and it comes out across the entire corporate event. I go, "What a fucking dick." And I'm just going off, right? And then Myers points to my microphone. I go, "Oh, shit." I shut off the microphone. So Myers goes, "Let's just get our money and get the hell out of here."
It's a Jerry Cooney moment.
So we're getting our money, right? And I look at Myers, and he didn't say anything to Myers. And I look at Myers, and Myers is standing next to me, and the guy's writing out the check, and I go like this. I go, "Maybe he didn't hear," like whispering, "Maybe he didn't hear." And all of a sudden the guy goes, "Oh yeah, I hear." And I saw it, and he was a fucking asshole, but you didn't have to announce it in front of the other 400 people.
Oh man. Oh yeah, I
Crazy
hear.
game.
But we used to have the Islanders. They were the new kids on block, and they would come into the club all the time. The
Could have
Islanders.
been more fun, those guys.
They were great. And Clark Gillies, even on an audition night, there was a bad act. All of a sudden, he would just go up on stage and go, "Come on, everybody. You got to know when to hold on."
That was the thing about Long Island, is you never know who the hell was going to, I remember it was Governors, and I come off stage, and I just had a really good set. And what's his name? I think he's an old friend of yours, John, Joey Buttafuoco.
Hey,
Joey.
It's like,
Joey.
Oh God,
I don't know if he was complimenting me or threatening my life. I'm not sure.
oh, he was an idiot.
No, but Richie, one time Richie came up to me. He goes, "Craig, I got a job for you." I go, "Okay." He goes, "I want to have you write for somebody." I'm like, "Really? Okay, cool." It was Luscious
This
Johnny
sounds
Valiant.
believable.
Do you remember that?
Oh,
Luscious Johnny Valiant.
Who?
Luscious,
He's
no,
a
the
wrestler.
wrestler.
He was a wrestler.
Oh.
He says he's going to go up and go do some time. You go up and kind of improv with him. And I was like so green. I had no idea what was going on. And Luscious Johnny Valiant's up there just going off, and he's like, all of a sudden he goes, "Okay," and he like rips off his shirt or something, and Richie's running around the room going, "Lock the doors, lock the doors."
That's why Richie picked you, because he figured fucking Johnny Valiant killed you. What's the what's
Exactly.
the loss?
There was
It's
no
like,
value in
you
that.
know.
It was
Richie
hilarious, though.
I will say that Richie has
Yeah.
also had some classic stories. There was a comic, Michelle LaFong,
Oh,
yeah.
and not a great act, but
But she
tried
was
hard.
hot. But she was
So-
hot.
No, she wasn't. But anyway, she got a job in Vegas. So in Vegas, people get like a 4-wall deal, which means they get all the money, and then they have to do the promo, or they get a 2-wall deal, 2-wall deal. I can't even talk. A 2-wall deal.
Hold on.
where
Do
what
you
they
smell?
do
Do you
is
smell toast, John?
They,
Toast.
Are you
I think
smelling
it's
toast?
Toast.
So they have, the club keeps the bar and you keep the door. There's all these different deals. So Michelle Fongs gets this little casino called the Binion, and when she goes on, they pull a curtain around all of the slot machines. And Richie goes run into Richie in Vegas. We're both working, and he goes, "Hey, you want to go see Michelle LaFong?" And I go, "What?" I go, "Where's she?" He goes, "She's got a 3-curtain deal." She got a 3-curtain deal. I don't know why, but I laugh about that still to this day. She got a curtain deal at the Binion.
a 3-curtain deal.
Hey, whatever. How many gigs have you? It's like I can't even count the number of gigs where it's like you go in and like it's a restaurant or something or a bowling alley, and they don't even want to shut off the TVs and shit like that. It's like they don't have no clue how a comedy show, or they just don't care. Somehow it's a tax write-off or something. It's like, oh my God.
Well, here's the Richie Minervini humanitarian story. All right. So when my daughter was like 18 months old, she was in the backyard and she walked out the back door, picked up a Snapple bottle, fell and almost cut her hand off. And just cut her wrist like right across. And Margie was like, we got to call the ambulance. I go, we don't have time. We need to go to the hospital. I could see the way it was bleeding. And she had on a windbreaker and I held her wrist. And by the time we got to the hospital, the whole windbreaker had filled up with blood like a balloon.
Oh, Jesus.
And so this doctor, I called my doctor. My doctor goes, there's only one person handle this. His name is, I forget what his name is, but he goes, he's a hand specialist who specializes in injuries of the lower left arm.
Wow, that's a real specific fucking
exactly.
specialty.
And she flies them all over for industrial accidents and stuff. So I call Richie because
what an idiot. 1 out of 16 people is left-handed. This guy takes the left hand.
Right. So anyway, I call Richie and I tell him, because we were very close, our families, our kids used to go to the show on Saturday night, his daughter and my daughter, and they had their own table. They'd sit in the back and they'd have their French fries and Shirley Temples. And Lindsay told me that her and Vanessa, every time their dads were on, they would go real loud. Yeah, that's my dad. You know, it's like, and they just, you know,
that's
they just
beautiful though. So you might
just had a
be
great
like, that's
time,
not my fucking dad. I'm not related to that.
So this doctor says he only operates at midnight, and it's going to take like a long time because
wait a minute. He specializes in the left hand.
He only
operates at midnight. What the fuck? This isn't a doctor, John.
He doesn't want anybody rushing him.
Is a vampire or a gremlin?
So I'm sitting in the waiting room at like 2 a.m, and Richie Minervini shows up at the hospital with coffee and sandwiches and donuts and everything, and said, "Yeah, I'm just here, man. I'm really, you were right. Just like real friend, And he calls me aside and says, "See this shoebox?" Or it was a cigar box. Yeah. He goes, "In this, I have like $220,000 I'm using to build my new club." And he said, "I want you to just take it and take whatever you want out of it. You don't have to worry about paying me back because your kids' health is more important than my club."
Wow. And that's Richie Minervini, right?
And I said, "I have health insurance." And he went, "Oh, thank God."
But you know what, though? That's why everyone.
Exactly.
I've never heard anyone say anything bad about Rich. I've never heard anyone say anything bad about you, Richie.
Nobody.
I got to give you my ex-wife's number, Carla.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always think of that. Richie's heard me tell that story so many times, but it really meant so much at the time. It was just, and then the doctor comes out, right? And I don't know, you remember this, Richie. The doctor comes out and goes, "Hey, your daughter's going to be fine." He goes, "I actually probably made the cut a little bit worse because I couldn't believe, there was no damage to the nerves." He goes, that old expression, like God protects kids and drunks, and my daughter's drunk.
Especially drunk.
Anyway, he goes, so he says, he goes, it was not a big deal. He goes, I opened her up. He goes, did a little microsurgery on the arteries, did a little this on that and everything. And he goes, and she's going to be fine. And he walks out and Richie goes, "You hear that guy?" He goes, "What a cocky bastard." He goes, "Yeah, did a little microsurgery. Like as if you're saying, yeah, I opened with a dick joke."
I went into my bridge and tunnel number, and
So yeah, we go way back. I mean,
that's what I mean. That's I think that I can't even imagine not having the support of you guys. Like I said, there was, I don't want to go through everyone, but like almost all the comics that you guys, I was just starting. I mean, I was doing it I didn't come out to Long Island until I had about a year or so under my belt, but maybe less. But and you guys know that stage time, you'd go on in the city and you'd go on for 20 guys that were other comics, open mic. They were waiting and they didn't give a shit. They weren't listening. They were waiting for their spot, and so you'd come out to Long Island and you, John, whatever, would put me up in front of 300 actual audience members. And you'd go, "Holy shit, it's such a different," and it helped me develop as a comic way quicker than
You
Yeah,
know,
I
you
remember
got
the
20
first-
minutes as opposed to 6 or 7 or 8. You got 20, and it took us forever to get 8 good minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Because
20
you guys
was almost
didn't have-
easier.
Because you guys didn't have the benefit of having you. See, we had you to, your clubs.
Well, you had
to
Linda
work in.
Rowe. What did you have, Linda Rowe? Wasn't she fun? Who was the owner of
she
that?
Dangerfield. She booked Dangerfields.
She also booked Jimmy's Comedy Alley.
Yeah,
No, that was.
Yeah.
Oh, did she book Jimmy's? Yeah.
who was the daughter there? Wasn't her name Linda something?
Linda, yeah, that was Linda.
Row.
No, Linda Rowe was it Linda Rowe? Then what was the Linda that booked Dangerfields?
I think there's 2 Linda Rowes. One are, yeah. I don't know.
But Linda,
But that girl, Linda Rowe, is still booking in Austin,
Yeah.
Texas.
and
San
Linda,
Antonio.
Linda from Jimmy's passed away.
Is she? I was
passed away
just in
years ago.
Austin last weekend.
What's that?
I was just in Austin last weekend.
Did you go to the,
Joe Rogan's
Mothership?
comment? No.
why not?
Because my son decided we were going to spend the weekend playing bobby hole hockey and go to the female roller derby.
They went to the roller derby.
Oh
Bobby
yeah. Well,
Hull hockey.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Do you know that
It's
in
like-
women's roller derby, one of the penalties they spin a wheel, and one of the penalties were a pillow fight, and they beat the shit out of each other.
There's nothing
Wow.
sexier than women beating the shit out of each other. Come
I
on.
know your son's smart, but he built a time machine to go back to roller derby.
He had never been to one either, and neither had I. And it was the championship in Austin, and we
Must have
went.
been great.
Richie, we laughed so hard. I mean, it was really fun.
That's
It
like
was
my
really
fantasy
funny.
is to get my ass kicked by a big roller derby chick.
Wouldn't that be
And-
Like
great?
Raquel Welch and Casey Bomber, that movie. What is it? Whatever that was. I remember that.
Yeah,
No.
well, it was really fun. It was just, but you remember playing that Bobby Hull hockey game? We must
Oh,
have
yeah.
played that. We played that game for so many hours, and we're so evenly matched that we ended up having to play for time.
Wait,
Like
is Bobby Hull the
5-minute
one that had
5-minute
like the
periods.
guys were stuck on the board with magnets?
Yeah, no,
No. It's the one with the
twist
Well, that was
rods.
football. That was football.
Yeah.
But what happens how many times did that little puck get caught in the corner and that wing
doesn't
can't-
get caught anymore? The new ones they go everywhere. There's no
Oh, okay,
dead
that's
spots.
good. That used to
They
really be
finally
frustrating.
solved these stuck
They
puck
finally
problem.
finally. I can't speak today. Finally,
Toast? You smelling toast?
I thought you were just making fun of me.
no. Mike's got this thing. He goes, he keeps going, you smelling toast. He says,
He's having a
when you're
stroke.
having a stroke, that first thing you do
Smell
is smell toast.
Or you're a bad
Wow.
cook.
The other day he goes like this, oh no, I'm smelling toast. He goes, oh, that's right, my wife's making breakfast.
I think that's true, though. I heard that. I don't think that's an old wives' tale. I think it's
Jewish-
true.
Do Jewish people smell bagels?
Yeah.
Toast. If they're
Not
toast,
during
bagel.
Rosh Hashanah.
Bagel.
let's say that we just passed Rosh Hashanah, which is the Jewish New Year. So happy New Year,
Happy New Year to
It's a new
you.
year. It's a new
Yeah.
year. New
Shalom.
deal.
Shalom. Shalom. Rosh Hashanah.
Shalom.
I'm
I
like,
think
I'm
it's
the
almost
worst.
time for us to go, right?
We have about 7 minutes left.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
7 minutes left. What should we talk about?
I don't know.
I would say
Oh, this is
How
the
can-
first
how
lull
can
we've
brick
ever.
wall?
This is the
Wait.
first. This is the first lull we've ever had. All right, so Richie, you've had a good career. You opened up for a lot of people. So tell us who
Yes.
you opened up for.
let's
Well,
see.
who's at least the most
amongst
fun?
The favorites would be Tony Bennett.
Oh my!
Nice.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, I
wow.
got out of a rehab in 1988. The first gig I get is opening for Tony Bennett.
And you had to go to rehab right after it too, huh?
Oh my God! I will go out to Connecticut. It's outdoors. There's 8,000 people. The most
Oh.
I've ever worked in front of is like 300, and they don't have a trailer for me. And they go, "Well, just go dress in Tony's trailer." I said, "I can't go in Tony's trailer." Go ahead. So I go in there.
Oh, wow.
He comes in. How you doing? I said, "Yeah, I'm sorry. They don't have no problem." I try to get out. He goes, "No, stay. You want some pot?" I go, "No."
What?
He goes, "You don't want to smoke?" I said, "No, I just got out of rehab." "Oh, so you definitely don't want any coke?" I went, "Maybe after the show." But it was so edgy. Yeah, turned out we had a nice show. Then they do a second show. Then the guy invites me to go out to dinner with him, and I go, "I can't get in that limousine. He's got coke." And I go, "No, thank you."
Oh, wow.
I
And
get
you
a call
opened,
from
you opened for Tina Turner once too, right?
Tina Turner. Was great. Yeah.
So wait,
Let me
here's the
tell you
question:
something.
Did rehab hold? Are you still clean?
Well, what time is it? Yeah, I got up at 9 and I'm still sober. Yeah.
There you go.
That's 6 hours right there.
sober. He's sober. It wasn't
Yeah.
his drinking problem.
So
Yeah, no,
Tina
I've been
Turner-
Here, I got a good East Side story. One day, Richie calls me up and says, "We're doing a thing. All the comedians. We're in a polo event."
Oh,
And
that's true.
I go, "What?" He goes, "I signed you all up for a polo match." I go, "I don't ride horses." And he's like, "Yeah, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be able to ride. The horses know what they're doing." And I go, "What?" So we show up, and who was it? There was like famous
Taylor
singer.
Dane.
Yeah.
Taylor
And
Dane.
that
Taylor
little
Dane.
girl from Long Island, the world's most female winning jockey. I forget her name.
Right,
She's a little tiny
right.
thing.
So we go there, and they go, "All right." So we get on these horses, right? And Richie rides a little bit, and well, I think he rides, but anyway. So they hit the ball, right? And the horses go right to the ball, so you don't really have to control the horse. And we're going, this isn't so bad, right? And first time I got to swing the mallet, boom, I missed the ball, hit the horse right in the head with the hammer.
That's fucking
And the
Italian.
horse-
Italian guys and horses don't fucking mix.
The horse doesn't really appreciate it.
Yeah.
The horse doesn't really appreciate it.
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
So comes the day of the match. We got to meet there really early in the morning. And these horses, man, are not the horses that we were just in. It's game day for these horses.
We were on trail horses.
Yeah, and these horses are like, and there's like steam coming out of their noses.
One of them's like, "You
right?
hit me with that fucking mallet, I'm gonna."
And they're
fucking
huge.
stomp
I take one look
you
at
to
the
death."
horse and I go, I'm out. I'm not doing this. I'm going to die. And everyone goes, except for Richie. Richie goes, "Oh, I'm going to do this." Richie used to play hockey. All of a sudden they go, "And now the owner of the East Side Comedy Club, Richie Minervini." He comes into the ring with his horse on two legs. And he's hanging on the back.
As you know, I didn't do it on purpose. I went giddy up, and this horse took off. Then when I pulled back on the reins, he went way up in the air, and I'm right in front of the crowd, and they're
Hop along,
cheering. I'm
Casadich.
just trying to stay on for dear life.
And the crowd goes crazy.
Hop
So he
along,
hits the
Casadich.
ball. He's playing with this little female jockey that comes up to like his pelvis. And Richie's hitting these balls, and she's sliding down on the horse.
Oh,
and
yeah,
like
she's amazing.
hitting the shot right to Richie, and Richie's scoring every time.
The girl tells me, "I don't want to score one goal. I don't want to show off here. So you just stay right in front of that net. I'll bang everything right to you." People are coming up to me like I was the all-star. I
You
never
were.
played
You
before.
were.
Well, I played hockey.
You
so I had
came
a
out. You
little
came out
idea
like
of
the Lone
direction.
Ranger. You came out like the Lone Ranger.
Like I said, it's
You were
weird.
like-
It's weird to picture Italian guys and horses. You have like a little talk with the horse beforehand, right? Let me tell you something, horse over here, right?
We
You
really
fucking
thought he
throw
was
me
going
off
to die.
and,
We really thought he was going to die when he came out on that horse, like way up in the air.
I thought I was going to die. Yeah.
I don't know how you hit
That
that
wasn't
ball with that
planned.
mallet, man. You gotta
I
have
don't know.
great coordination to do that.
I've been on a horse once, and it was a terrible experience. It was like
What was your name?
Ooh,
Oh,
hey.
I could tell you, but I don't know. No, but it's like the freaking horse go down, you go up, and you meet in the middle. It's like wow, Chris. It was
Yeah.
not a good.
Didn't we go horseback riding? You, me, somebody else, and Bob Woods once, and we went way
There's
out.
another guy I can't picture on
Out-
a horse.
We went
Out-
way
Neither
out
Neither
somewhere.
could the horse.
We went out somewhere, and then all of a sudden, Bob Woods' horse laid down and ran back to the stable.
Yeah,
He
the
had to
fucking
walk
horse
like
wanted to
2
get on his
miles.
back.
He had to walk like 2 miles back, and he was
Fucking
all
horse wanted to
pissed
get on
off.
his back. You
That
carry
was
me.
we were running where the Gilgo murderer was. That's where we had the horses out of some park out there, national park on Long Island.
Right?
Well, that's
I
a nice
remember
way to
that,
end the
right,
show.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have about a minute left.
Wow.
All right.
Well, anyway,
Talking about-
what do you got
talking
coming
about
up, Richie?
might-
Where are
might-
you going next?
Out to sea again out of Fort Lauderdale, just to the Caribbean. I just came back from 14 weeks in Alaska.
Which cruise line are you on? Because my cousin's going on pretty soon. What cruise line are you on?
I'm going on Royal, on the Adventure of the Sea and the Mariner of the Sea, and I just did all their ships in Alaska. Highly recommend Alaska.
I'm gonna ask my cousin because if he's on the cruise, I'll have him come up and say hello to you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Just don't touch his bike.
And you know what Rich will do for him? Dinner free.
What's that?
Dinner free.
Dinner free. They'll buy you
Yeah.
dinner on the
Isn't
cruise
everything
ship.
all inclusive? It's all included. That's it.
No, they have 7 specialty restaurants we have to pay now.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Taking that
sushi,
back.
They have a sushi steakhouse, pasta, crab house.
Sushi
Crazy,
sounds
crazy.
good, man. I'm gonna go get some sushi today, I think.
Yeah, I'm
Who
gonna
are
go
the
eat a
cru-
little sushi. I'm
who
gonna
are
see
the-
you boys soon. Thank you so much for having me on, Craig. And
Richie, nice to meet you. See
Thanks,
you again.
Richie.
I've already met
Mike,
you.
Always a pleasure, Richie. I love you,
always
buddy.
good to see you boys.
Good to
All right.
see you,
See you
Richie.
guys.
Be
Continued
well.
success,
How
John.
long are you gone for?
A week.
And then you're home for a bit?
Then I'm home for a couple days. Then I'm going with the family to Italy. That sounds
Oh, awesome. Enjoy.
Where
Yeah.
are you going? Where are you going to Italy?
Rome and Florence. We're gonna and with VRBO. It looks like, I don't know if this picture's real. It looks like a really nice place. It's got 5 bathrooms and
Nice.
5 bedrooms.
At
It's
our
supposed
age,
to
you
fit
got to have
12.
a lot of bathrooms. It's
You
like
only
you
need
don't
5
think about the
bathrooms
view.
if you
It's
go
like
to
I want
Mex-
how many bathrooms?
You only need 5 bathrooms if you go to Mexico.
I'm going with my immediate family. There's gonna be 15 of us. There's gonna
Oh,
be actually
fantastic
12 of us
time.
or something. All right.
Nice.
Boys, thank you so much for having me on. I'd love to do it again.
All righty, Richie.
All right,
Good
Richie.
seeing you,
Have a
buddy.
good
Thank
time.
you.
Good
Bye-bye.
seeing you.
All right, man.
Good seeing you guys.
All right. Well, let's have a round of applause for our guest, Richie
Yay,
Minervini.
Richie,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
And yeah, it's good to have old friends on the show.
Yeah, no, it's so Richie's always great, man.
It's
Great to reminisce about. I mean, you know what? Hopefully, the audience
There's a
can relate to
special
it, but
place
it's-
in my heart for him, man. I really do,
Oh, yeah, that
especially that
story
thing
with your
after my
daughter.
daughter, and
Yeah.
you know,
What the hell was
And,
that?
I
that
haven't got
was
a clue.
me getting an email, I believe.
Okay.
That was Richie texting him, going, "Don't ever fucking do that
Don't-
to me again,
don't bite.
cocksuckers. Put me on a show. Nothing over here. We got nothing to talk about."
Do we have Dennis Blair on the show recently?
Yes.
That's what I thought we did, because he's opening for Barry Manilow this weekend.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
So I'm gonna
Dennis
see
is
him.
awesome.
I'm going to see him and Larry.
Nice,
man.
nice, very
That's
cool.
awesome.
So
Well, we
and
should
then there's
close- We
there's
should
a-
close the show before we just.
yeah,
Really?
I'm just saying, there's a big VIP party, and I'll see both of them there, I'm sure.
Get some pictures.
Get some pictures.
Get a
Get some
picture.
pictures.
Get a selfie.
We haven't.
All right, well, listen, let's.
It
It was a great day today. It was lots of fun. And let's hear it for Craig Mitchell.
Have a good week, everybody.
Let's hear it for Mike Reef.
For you, it's easy. For me, it's difficult. Thank you very much.
And my name is John Ferrantino, and we are here. You see our show drop live, taped live on 9 o'clock in the morning it's on Podcast Playground, and then on Apple, and it's everywhere. I mean, you
Yeah,
can't
just
even
everywhere.
Everywhere you can listen to a podcast. Just put in your browser.
We got some
the
incredible.
Big
We
Bad-
got some incredible guests that are going to be. We can't reveal.
Yeah, we can't
the
reveal their names,
identities
but
as
you'll
of
be.
right now, but we're going to be having some.
But let me
huge-
tell you, you'll be surprised that they agreed to do this show.
That's it. I had to friggin' kidnap family members to get this done, but
All right. Well, we'll see you next time. Same time,
right.
same bat station.
peace.
Peace.